All right, so let's come back to all fours and do a few more rounds of cat-cow. So connect back to your breath as you exhale, do the cat spine. And as you inhale, lengthen, lift your gaze, lift your tail. Good. And then on the next breath, come back to a neutral spine. And then tuck your right toes. So stretch your right leg back and tuck your right toes. Just stretch through the leg here. Good. Spin your left foot out to the kitchen. So drag your left foot. Yeah, there you go. Switch your weight to the left side and then reach your right arm up towards the ceiling. Good. Holding here. Push down into the ground with your left hand, but reach up with your right. Good. And then release your right hand down to the ground. Bring your right knee back down. Good. Shift your weight to that right knee. Bring your left leg out. Tuck your left toes to stretch through that right foot, right leg. Spin your right toes off the mat towards the side. Reach your left arm up. And pull that left arm a little bit back so you could feel the intensity of that left intercostal muscle stretching. And then release that left hand back down. Come into child's pose. Pull your knees apart, toes together, push your hips back. Walk your hands up or let your head drop to your fists. Push your hips towards your heels. And just try to lengthen each exhale. And now reach your arms out in front at the touch of the top of the mat. And walk your hands over to the right side. Letting your shoulders be open. Letting your chest fall more towards the mat. Good. And then walk your hands back to the center and then over to the left side. Good. And then come back to the center and walk your hands up to the top of the mat as far as you can go. Good. 2 more breaths here, letting your chin fall towards the mat. And release. Come back up onto all fours. Pull your knees back in. And have a block nearby at the top of the mat. All right. Now bring your right hand down underneath your chin, but on the floor, and reach your left arm up. Make rotations with that left wrist, spinning it around. And then thread the needle. Slide that left arm underneath. Pull your block to be underneath your head with your right hand. And walk. So left arm comes under. Yep, there you go. Drop your head down. And walk your right hand over to the left side as much as you can in order to get that stretch on your upper back and your shoulders. Letting your hips sink towards your heels. And release. Come back to the center. Yeah, she's here. And then bring your left hand to the floor. Yeah, you could hear a dog from a mile away. And then reach your right arm up. And then rotate the right wrist. And thread the needle. Slide your right hand underneath. Push your hips back. Pull your block to be resting under your head. And walk your left hand over to the right side. Two more breaths here. And release. Coming back up, plant your hands underneath your shoulders. And here you can flip your wrists. So let the backs of your wrists be, you can stretch your wrists any way. You can flip them around, drop them so that they're upside down, kind of. Good. And then come onto your knees just to release your wrists, just shake them out a bit. Good, and then interlace your fingers behind your back. Lift your chest up, push your hips slightly forward. Good, and release. Come back, let go of your hands, walk your hands down to the mat. And tuck your toes, come into a push-up position. So you're going to hold here for a few breaths. Wrists are stretched, core begins to engage. Holding here, push through your heels, and then push your hips back, bend your knees, downward facing dog. And then when you're in downward facing dog, bend one knee and then the other. Now lift your right leg up towards the ceiling. So three-legged dog, and then bend that right knee and open your hip, making circles with your right knee. Release your right foot down to the ground. Pull your knees in towards your belly, belly towards your knees. Downward facing dog. Push down on your knuckles. And then bring your left leg up. Bend your left knee, open your hip out, and make circles with your left knee. You got it. And then bring that left foot back down to the ground. Hold here for 2 more breaths. Down dog. And push it forward, lowering down your knees. Good. Elbows in, core tight, lower down your chest and your belly, slide forward so belly comes all the way down. Hands underneath your shoulders, elbows in. Look up and lift towards the ceiling, chest lifts. And exhale, bring it down. Shake your hips left and right. One more like that. Cobra, hands to the hands still on the mat. Lift your chest, look up. Good, and release. Come back down. Let your hands come by your side and look towards the right side. Let your left cheek come to the mat. There you go. Good. Now bend your knees and just rock your your feet left and right. So we'll kind of windshield wiper them. Good. And release your legs out. Tops of the feet touch the ground. Interlace your hands behind your back. So tops of the feet push down. Interlace your hands behind your back. Chin comes to your mat. Look up towards the ceiling and then lift up. Pull your hands back and up. Chest lifts. Using your back muscles to lift yourself up. And release. Bring it back down. Release your arms. Let your right cheek come to the mat and look towards the left side. And then bring your hands, palms facing down. Bring them underneath your shoulders and push yourself back up. Good. Tuck your toes. Fingers, knuckles push down on the ground. Push it up to downward facing dog. Lift your right leg up and back. And then you're going to swing it. Push forward, pull your knee in towards your nose. So you're going to tuck your chin in, pull it in, and then send it back. Good. One more. Pull it in and send it back. And then you're going to pull it in, but bring your right foot up to the top of the mat. So towards the side a little bit, but like towards the top. Good. Shift your weight to that left hand. Good. And then bring your right hand to your right hip and reach your right hand up to the ceiling. Good. And release your hands down. Bend both knees as much as you can. So you bring your left knee down to the ground. Bend the knees slowly. Good. Now bring the block to be underneath your upper body in front of you, coming into lizard pose. So let your forearms rest on the block. Fingertips touch. Drop your head down. Shake your head left and right. And then bring your hands back up, pushing into the block. Remove the block to the side and pull your right leg back. Good. Plant the hands down onto the ground. Tuck your toes, lift your hips up, downward facing dog again. Good, you got it. Bring your left leg up. And then swing, pull it in, core tight. Good. Keep it up there. Good. And now bring your right hand down to the ground. Reach your left arm up and twist. And here, if you can tuck your right toes and then lift your right knee up. If it's okay. Good. And release. Bring your right knee back down to the ground. And come into lizard. So bring that block underneath your upper body and fingertips touch each other. Drop your head down. Trying to slow your exhale down a little bit, lengthening it a little bit more. allowing yourself to take a new air when you breathe in. One more breath here. And then release. Bring the block away off the mat. Walk that left foot toe heel back. Swing it back behind yourself. Good. And then plant the hands into the ground. Tuck your toes. We're going to lift it from downward facing dog up to standing. So push your hips back, down dog. And then walk your feet up to your hands up to your feet. And come all the way up to standing. Good. I can still see you, so that's good there. Good. And then facing forward, push down on your feet. You're going to inhale, lift your arms up, interlace your fingers, cross your thumbs, release your index finger. Good. Squeeze your arms alongside your ears so that your arms are straight as you can make them. Good. You're going to reach over to the right side. Push your hips to the left, upper body back. Two more breaths here. Use your right hand to pull your left. And release, come back to the center. Reach your arms back, keep your chin lifted, reach your arms up, and then draw a line over to the left side, push your hips to the right. Reach with your arms over, push with your hips to the good, and come back to the center. Drop your head back, lift your hands up to the ceiling, give your head a little shake left and right here, and then draw a line towards the kitchen, back behind, pushing your hips forward, but lifting your arms up, using your arms, your shoulders opening up to drive the back bend. Weight still on your heels. And release. Come back to the center. Release your hands down. And then walk your hands down your legs so you can begin to come down. Bend your knees as much as you need in order to touch your fingertips to the floor. Drop your head down and then hold on to your ankles. So grip around the backs of your ankles and use that pull. So take your ankles and kind of pull yourself. Imagine that you're trying to lift your feet up off the ground to create that back stretch. Good. And release. Come all the way up to standing. Bring your shoulders up, back and down. Good. And then come on all the way down to the floor. So now you can come down, lay on your back. No, you can keep the camera there because we're going to stay down here only for a moment so I could still see you. Good. All right. And then close your eyes. And just feel your breath coming in and out. Let your shoulders come up a little bit and then relax them back down. Feel your lower body sink into the floor. And then you can bring one hand to your heart, one hand to your belly. Relax your jaw. Good, and then you can take a deep breath in and let it go. One more like that. Deep breath in. And exhale it out. You can bring your palms together to touch. Bow your head slightly, stretching the back of your neck and connecting your head, your heart, and your body. Namaste.